moving on to trauma.
Colin Sesek is the EMT and physiology teacher at Skyview High School. He joined the military right out of high school for obvious reasons. Well, obvious at the time.
My generation, like the movie Black Hawk Down. Like, right, it's cool guys and running around Africa doing cool stuff, and so you watch that as a 16-year-old and you're like, that's what I want to do.
His parents' thoughts?
A weird family dynamic though. My mom was lieutenant colonel in the Air Force and my dad was a conscientious objector in Vietnam. What? Yeah, so that was a weird, so they were kind of like supportive, but also like kind of wishing I did something else.
But he didn't do something else as he began what would begin his storied military career, starting with a 15-month deployment to Iraq with the U.S. Army.
We were actually just talking about it in class earlier about the psychological stuff and PTSD and some of those things. And there's a really cool internet series of photos of dudes before, during, and after their deployment. I'm just looking at what that looks like. And yeah, I mean, when I deployed, I looked like I was 12, and by the end, I definitely aged 5 years and 15 months.
After serving 4 years on active duty and an additional year in the Idaho Army National Guard, Colin decided to give civilian life a try.
I was a civilian for maybe a year, and then my buddy was working for the State Department in Afghanistan and said, hey, we need medics over here, do you want to do it? And I just didn't even think about it. I just basically dropped out of school, and I worked for the Diplomatic Security Service in Afghanistan at the U.S. Embassy there, being a medic on one of the teams.
After that came another brief stint as a civilian before joining the Utah National Guard, where he earned a college degree, and then joined the Special Operations Medic program that he completed after a year.
Did my clinical rotations in Flint, Michigan, which was exciting because that place is a war zone. Got back from that, and another buddy offered me to go back to Afghanistan, which I did, working at the Green Zone in the embassy, I call it, that one was more like combat Uber. Canadian embassy would throw epic parties. We were their Uber. We would drive to the embassy, hop in, okay, let's go to the Canadian embassy.
Can I assume you're all seeing the pattern here by now?
Got back, said, all right, I'm good. I'm gonna hang out at home for a while. I was home for about 3-4 months. The Army calls me up and say, hey, 3rd Special Forces Group is going to Africa to go hunt ISIS. Do you wanna go? Yeah, okay.
And that's gotta be it, right?
I was basically a free agent medic. So if a team needs to go somewhere and they need a medic, they could just pull me, right? I'm not assigned to a team, I can just kind of do whatever. So in rapid succession, I went to Thailand and Philippines and Morocco.
If you think Colin's life thus far reads like a movie or stage play, you aren't alone. Enter actor and writer Neil Brookshire, a longtime acquaintance of Colin's that he met at the Idaho Shakespeare Festival many years ago.
Then one day he's like, you know what? I think we can make a story out of this. We can make an arc. We can actually make it a production.
With that, Bent Compass was born, an ever-evolving living document disguised as a one-man stage play based on the events of Colin's life. It's what critics might call a hit.
I think it's been performed 50 times now over that, and probably, 10 different states, all over Canada. And we just got back from a tour, literally just 2 days ago. We were at the Sedona Film Festival over Halloween weekend. We had 3 performances there, and then the following weekend of event, so just this weekend, 2 days ago, we did 2 shows at Yale.
He knows that when it comes to veterans, his story isn't necessarily unique, but that doesn't mean that it shouldn't be told.
I think it encourages veterans to consider their own stories and talk about their own stories and what they've learned from their experiences and kind of how they've grown from it. It is not a boohoo me, my life sucks story at all. It is bad things happened, what am I gonna do about it? So for veterans, I think it encourages those conversations. And then for civilians, it opens up a little window into the veteran kind of experience a little bit.
But most importantly is the message he wants everyone to walk away with.
Everyone does have that story. And so when always remember, you don't know where people are coming from. Have a little bit of that compassion because everyone's coming from a different place. Everyone has a story to tell, and that's valuable.
You might think it could be hard to keep the attention of a guy like Colin, who's always looking for his next adventure. But when it comes to teaching our kids at Skyview, he's always present.
Just yesterday, I had a student email me from 4 years ago, and she said, hey, I just wanted to say, I'm a firefighter, paramedic, or firefighter EMT now, and I just want to say thanks for your course. I'm so glad I did it. So that's what keeps me here. And I get those emails somewhat regularly, that a student will email me years later and tell me what they're doing. I've had 3 or 4 students go to med school. I've had students who took my EMT class kind of we'll see, and now they're paramedics, and they ended up liking it. So that's kind of keeping me here just because I get that feedback of what I did help someone, did make a difference.
And if you have a student that's lucky enough to be taking one of Colin Sesek's classes, know that they're learning more than just what's in the title of the course.
Medicine, but just preparing them for adulthood so they can be good, functional, reliable members of society. Because I think the other issue we have is we just need more good, reliable people in our society to make good decisions and do good things. And like, it starts here, you know, it starts in the school system to kind of enable them to make those decisions.